love it. The calls.
You'll eventually get the 20% back. That Silver Connect card is going to pay her co-payments. Remicade, I believe, is an injectable, and her hospitalization co-payments. And tell them to turn his Part B on. All right, I'm ready. First of all, have you know, I literally just walked into the studio this second. Yes. Producer Tom's like...
Sorry, I surprised you there.
He goes, all right, we're on live. So that's how you do it. You make it happen. All right, first and foremost, today is the 14th of November. It's about 1:09. If anyone got affected by Storm Sandy, I'm sincerely sorry. We're clearly not hit anywhere near New Jersey, New York, or Fairfield or Bridgeport, and some of my clients in Milford. But if they did get some damage in the local area, I am terribly sorry. Today's topics, we're going to have a Mattituck Minute at the top of the hour. I heard they have a huge event going on at the museum, which is good. Hope that's bringing in some money. And we are going to go over healthcare reform. I know it's not that exciting, but it's here and it's staying and it's in the paper. Healthcare. Obama's re-election means the healthcare overhaul will continue to be implemented, but small businesses still have to wait to find out how much will eat into their profits. That's not a good word. We do not like to hear that. I've been meeting with my HR people at all the companies, and we're bracing for change. Change is unfortunately inevitable, and we're going to have to do it. So change is here, and it's going to stay. It's going to stay because it would have been possibly vetoed if there was a change in administration. But the fact that the administration has renewed means it's here to stay, and it's going to happen. So, all right. Let's take the caller on line 1. Thank you very much patiently for waiting. Michael Regan, how are you?
Oh, hi, Mike. It's Lisa Lassard. How are you?
Lisa, hey. Nice to see you. You got your pizza coupon, too.
I did. Thank you so very much.
Question. Did I hear an awful bad news? Did you step down? I think you called in Larry Rifkin's show last month, and you stepped down?
From the Human Service Commission?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, they're gonna be missing you. You're such an independent thinker. You think outside the box. You really care. You especially care about your daughter, but you do care so much about the people. You're definitely going to be missed.
Definitely. Caring about the disabled, and the only reason I gave my letter of resignation was because they didn't follow the city charter as they should have to make sure that position was put in there the way it should have been.
Oh, I heard you. I listened to the show. I thought you had a very passionate point.
So you basically know I'm all about truth and fact, and you know, it wasn't done on the up and up like it should have. The charters, the city laws. If they're going to follow the city laws, then I'm not going to be a part of it.
All right.
But the reason why I'm calling in is just so you know, because I just heard you on the air earlier, and I don't think that you knew, but the gathering they're having at the Mattituck Museum today
is a funeral.
Is from Andrew Pape.
Yes. What?
Yeah. It's Andrew Pape it's a memorial for Andrew Pape. They had the memorial service at St. John's, and then they're having a gathering at Mattituck Museum. That's why there's so many people there. Yeah.
Will's brother, Andrew?
Yes.
Oh, my. I just literally got back from California yesterday. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, basically it was in the newspaper probably a week ago.
Yeah.
They didn't make that much of a big deal about it or anything because it's very hurtful and very, but I knew you mentioned what you mentioned about the Mattituck Museum, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't even think he knows what's going on down there.
I didn't, and I'm actually friends with the Papes. Oh,
yeah.
Will, I'm so sorry for the loss of your brother, and Mr. Pape, I'm so sorry for the loss of your son.
And the family that was left. It's just horrible.
He's such a young guy.
Yeah, he was. I have the article. I need to come see you anyways for the reason why I do see you. So I'll bring the paper in with me so you can read it.
Okay, Lisa, you always come in so educated. I'm sure you're going to just say, look, I've already done my homework. This is the plan we're going with. But
basically, as I always do, yeah.
Yeah, I love dealing with you. I like intelligent people. You're always fun and bubbly. I will see you at the office, and wear one of your cool, funky outfits, please. I love you.
Oh, thank you. I always do. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Rosa Dolores got nothing on you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, buds. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
All right. Caller on line 1, Michael Regan. Michael Regan, how are you?
Hello, Michael?
Yes.
This is Chuck Stoller.
Man, okay. First of all, let me put a little plug. This is Chuck Stoller. He is the head of the labor and employment practice at Carmody and Torrance. He is a partner. I consider him my labor law guru. He and I were at a healthcare council meeting this morning, and Catherine did a great job discussing some changes that are coming with the Healthcare Reform Act. She actually referred to it as Obamacare every time. It's actually healthcare reform, but she did an extremely good job. And Chuck and I have become friends over the past couple months because we're on the board together. And I really admire his intelligence. I think knowledge is power, and he's very calm, not crazy like me. He's very calm. People really, they like to listen to him. He and his coworker did a phenomenal speech. The first opening speech was in September, and it was a few days before. It was around September 11th or 12th, and it was at the Lever Center. And Chuck literally just lit the room up. There was 50 or 60 people there, and we were mesmerized by his knowledge. And we see each other this morning, and the summary of benefits coverage, if you employers are out there listening, I'm going to let the guru talk, but you really need to pay attention to this because he and I are both kind of like baffled that we don't think everyone's taking it as seriously as it is. So, Chuck Stoller, we're partner with Carmody and Torrance LLP. You take it away, and I'll just be quiet and let you talk.
Well, Mike, excuse me, Michael, thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to get a chance to talk to you again more than once in a day. So I appreciate this opportunity. And what I thought I would do for your listeners also, if you don't mind, is that I will talk about the summary for benefit coverage and the Affordable Care Act, or what people call Obamacare, on a couple of key points. But I thought it might not be a bad idea to just, if you don't mind, just tell people just briefly about Carmody and Torrance and who we are and what we do. We're a full-service law firm. We've got about 65 lawyers, most of whom are here in Waterbury, but we have offices in New Haven and also in Southbury. And we've been in Waterbury for well over 100 years. We represent businesses and individuals, and some of those for decades. And the practice, probably relevant for your listeners as well, although we have a very strong litigation and we do corporate work for businesses and area institutions, we also have a very strong trust and estates practice. We regularly represent a number of healthcare entities like hospitals and physician practices in the area. And I know, Mike, you know this, but I as you kindly introduced me, I head our labor and employment practice, and we spend lots of time working with folks on preventive matters, and we principally work for employers in all aspects of the employment relationship, and that's, like we're talking about today, employee benefits, wage and hour, discrimination matters, traditional labor relations, which is union matters, those types of things. And we regularly, of course, appear in the state and federal courts. And also I would just tell you, and I know you and I have worked a little bit with this, is I regularly, personally, am an arbitrator and also a mediator in employment disputes.
Yes.
But
we spoke about that in rehearsal on the phone.
Yeah. Let me move more to your question about the summary benefits coverage. Of course, that is one of the key components of the health reform law, the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. I have to tell you that since the election last week, we have a noticeable uptick in the number of people who are asking us questions about the statute. I think employers and others have finally realized that the law, which, as you know, was passed in 2010, is not likely to be repealed. The U.S. Supreme Court upheld the law, and now the election's over. And so there are many employers and even some states, it seems, who have waited, and now they must play catch-up. And you were kind in the introduction to talk about that speech, that one of the speeches that we do, and we regularly do a lot of training programs, But the other lawyer who is with me there, Mark Williams, Mark is a lawyer with us here, and he's really leading our effort in understanding and communicating about the health reform law. Mark is an ERISA, and he's a benefits lawyer who's got 25 years of experience, and Mark has devoted...
Hold on. ERISA, we throw those terms around. Employee Retirement Insurance Security Act.
Right, Income Security Act.
Yeah, Income Security Act. It was established in 1972 for the listeners.
Right.
All right, keep going.
And that's a person who really focuses and understands the details of health insurance plans, pensions, retirement, and ERISA is a federal law, as you say, that's been around for a long time, and that's Mark's area of expertise. But lately, he has devoted much of his practice to understanding the 900 pages of the Affordable Care Act and the literally thousands of pages of regulations that continue to be issued. You know, they continue to come pretty fast and furious.
Yes.
So, as you and I talked this morning, there is this document that's called an SBC, Summary of Benefits and Coverage, and what that is a requirement that employers who offer group health insurance provide their employees with an easy-to-understand summary of a health insurance plan's benefits and coverage.
Right on.
The insurance companies are really the ones who are required. The plan issuers are the ones who are required to provide this summary for employers to distribute. And the fact is, I told you this law took effect in 2010. The requirement for this SBC took effect as of September 23 of this year, 2012. So it's already in effect. And what that really means is that any employer that has an open enrollment period for employees to enroll or to choose a new plan, they must be given this document. Or if there are new employees who join after that who have become eligible for health insurance, they must be given this SBC. But as you and I talked about, both in your insurance practice and here in our employment practice, we're aware that many insurance carriers and then the employers are providing these forms. But I got to tell you, I'm also aware that many employers and carriers have not been providing them, and that I'm even become aware, even since this morning, Michael, that there are certain carriers who are not providing them. And go ahead.
It's something baffling to you and I. We know it's a law. It says it right here in all the documents. United Healthcare, I printed out theirs. Aetna, I printed out Connecticut's and Anthem, which are major large players in the state of Connecticut. Right. Effective September 23rd, 2012, brokers will be able to make a request for summary of benefit coverage, SBC, as Chuck so eloquently is putting it, for fully insured groups with up to 50 employees using the particular service. It is something you have to, employers out there listening, and especially you HR people listening, it is a requirement that if you do not distribute it, they have the right to fine you $1,000.
Well, and actually it's $1,000 per day per participant.
Right. Go ahead. You roll with this.
But here's the big but. The big but. You're absolutely right. It is in the statute. But the Department of Health and Human Services, the organization that is putting out the information on the Affordable Care Act, they have issued some guidance. They call it frequently asked questions, FAQs, where they have said, and I'm reading it, that during the first year of applicability, the department will not impose penalties on plans and issuers that are working diligently and in good faith to comply.
Right.
So the bottom line right now is that even though the statute says you must issue these SBCs, there will not be any penalties imposed in the first year. And I take that to mean that actually some carriers and insurers have not issued the SBC, knowing that there's not a penalty. But let's back up a second. I think, in part, to be fair, it does require a fair amount of work. And these forms, let's talk about the SBC, because part of what happened is that even though this is part of the statute, there is a lot of work that goes into these SBCs, because I think if we can take a minute, the form itself is really a pretty helpful document.
It explains the plan at length.
Yeah, it's an 8-page document. It's a summary of the details of the plan. For example, what's covered or what's excluded, what are the deductibles, what's in-network, what's out-of-network, what are the co-pays, what are the various details. In fact, the requirement is that these SBCs include examples of what would be paid for certain common conditions, like a maternity or managing a diabetic condition, something like that.
Right.
And it's a very comprehensive document, and I will tell you that I think it will be very useful, because also accompanying it, the HHS has put together something they call a glossary of health coverage in medical terms, and in surprisingly easy to understand language, they define very common terms that appear, when you're looking at a health insurance plan. What is co-insurance? What's a deductible? What's out of network? What is co-insurance? What's out of pocket? All of those terms that are often hard to understand, and they have put together this glossary that I actually do recommend. And now I've said where these things are. For your listeners, Michael, you can get these documents on the website. The easiest website to get is www.healthcare.gov. Healthcare, all one word, .gov. If you go on there, the first thing that comes up is the summary of benefits and coverage, this SBC, and you click on that, and you can see samples, and then you can also click there to see the glossary. This document, when it does get distributed, I think will be very helpful for individuals to make a decision about what coverage that they'll select for them and their families.
Outstanding knowledge. My producer Nick, will have that on the YouTube page, where we'll give you the link, the healthcare.gov link. It'll also be on the radio, where you could rebroadcast it. Also, Chuck and I were talking about it. It was enacted September 23rd, 2012. It takes effect for renewals November 1st, and they are on after. So basically, if you, as the human resources person in your firm, hasn't received it, the carrier will mail it 30 days prior to the renewal effective date. So during open enrollment, if your effective date is December, January, February, March, whenever your enrollment period is for your carrier, it will be required. They are going to, as Chuck just stated, I guess give you a little pass these first 12 months, but then they're really going to go full enacting with it. And it is something you should be aware of and know that it's making you as the employer accountable for giving this particular information to your employees. So,
and Michael, I would say, and this is sort of that classic lawyer caveat, there are some exceptions, and I didn't go into them because I was giving you the broad brush picture here, but there are exceptions. Usually the lawyer at this time talks really, really fast, like you hear on some advertisements. But anyway, there are some exceptions that do allow employers or carriers to provide the SBCs later than when the open enrollment is going, like you said, the November 1 period. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but again, you can find that information on that same website. It's
just key to have such a intelligent mind. Tell them how they can reach Carmody and Torrance if they ever have any labor law questions, or obviously now I'm going to use you as my wills writer. I have a lot of clients that need to do, ILIT planning and wills and trusts.
Sure.
Second
sure.
it dies, I'll just make sure I give those to you. Please tell my friend.
I appreciate that. I mean, several of my partners specialize in or trust and estates lawyers, and that's all they do. And so we do represent, as I said, many people throughout the Waterbury area. We have a Southbury office to service that area.
Good call.
And so that is a large and key part of our practice. You can reach Carmody and Torrance. Our general number is 203-573-1200. That's the phone. And you can get us at www.carmodylaw.com. That's our website. Michael, I just had one other thing that I think would be useful for your listeners.
Sure.
And it's a whole other topic that I don't intend to get into, and I know you don't have time on your program this afternoon, but the other topic that I would tell people to pay attention to related to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, is exchanges.
That's where I'm going next, actually. Kevin Cunahan is a friend of mine, and Victoria Veltri. We're going to actually have an entire show dedicated to the exchanges. And yes, you're going to definitely be part of that roundtable discussion. We're going to take it all throughout the airways and hopefully get on some TV shows with that. It's here to stay. It's in 2014, and it's coming.
Right. Well, by October of 2013, states are supposed to have them up and running, and Connecticut is out in front, as you say, with Kevin Cunahan, their CEO. I was just looking, and this will be, you can put this as a link for your listeners as well. If you go to ct.gov/HIX, that's Health Insurance Exchange, HIX, you go there, you will learn about the exchanges, and those are obviously one of the critical components of making the individual mandate, which is required as part of the new law, work.
Okay, fantastic. It's Chuck Stoller with Carmody and Torrance, LLP. Chuck, I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Thank you, Michael. We'll be in touch.
Have a great day. All
Bye-bye.
right. Commercial break, producers?
If you want to. You don't have that many commercials.
Let's take a caller on line 2.
Okay.
First of all, I'm so sorry to have you holding so long. Thank you very much for being patient, Michael Regan.
Love means never having to say
yes,
sorry.
The
Michael,
man.
You have a sense of what to bring in your programming that your listeners really care about.
Yeah.
For you to bring counsel onto the airwaves with you is admirable, and I'm sure I speak for all listeners when I say thank you for bringing such confidence. Carmody and Torrance is, their reputation speaks for itself.
Very reputable.
His education and life experience is obvious. He was talking to us in code when he explained that something would happen fast and furious. I think I know what side of the argument he would come down on.
Right.
And I was hoping to ask him, with regard to the name of the Affordable Care Act, see, the reason that we've lost our country is because of the ingenious nature of the secular progressive left, and they take words and use them in ways to blindside the sheeple, I'll call them.
I got you.
On people, and they've done it here again. And I'll give you another example. They come asking us to call something the Equity in Marriage Act.
I heard you on Larry Rifkin's show with that.
Yeah, well, equity in marriage they call destroying 5,000 years of Western civilization by providing a climate where men can marry men and women can marry women. So when they call this an Affordable Care Act, and I don't want to dwell on that because some people get nervous when I keep pointing out how disingenuous the secular progressive left is. But they call this the Affordable Care Act. I was hoping to ask Chuck what his comment is. This is not affordable. It's called the Affordable Care Act. It's going to break the country. Combined with the Dodd-Frank Financial Reform Act, we have no country left. And you notice he said he's getting calls now that the election is over. The election was not an election. The election was the most sweeping case of election fraud the world has ever seen. And now people are calling up because they thought it was going to go with, they had hope that they would get this other guy, Romney, who they don't understand plays on the same team as Obama. So now they're calling now that this thing can't be repealed. And so
no,
I say...
it cannot. It's now law. Judge Roberts, it's a law.
Well, Judge Roberts was threatened, turned out to be a coward, and changed his vote. Can you imagine threatening the
Ferris,
Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
I actually got a schooling in California. I went out to visit some friends and had a little business on Monday. And I have opened my mind a little bit. Hopefully it will do some good. But I wasn't the biggest fan, and I'm probably not going to be the biggest fan of the exchanges. Hopefully, though, there's going to be some good. If anyone's over 72 out there, it's going to be effective, where you're going to need 2 board-certified physicians to have any slightly electoral kind of procedures, and that's not America.
Chuck is gone, Michael, so I would ask you, do you think that this should be called the Affordable Care Act? Is it affordable? Of course it's not. And what's your opinion?
The opinion for me is just I'm going to pass until I meet with Kevin Cunahan. I need to see true facts, because I've been doing this for 21 years. I need to see how they're going to lower the premium, make everyone till age 26 be on their parents' plan, give away all this wellness. Even colonoscopies are now considered wellness. How are they going to lower the costs and provide a stipend? A stipend meaning a given subsidy to the state of Connecticut. For anyone under a certain federal poverty level, they're going to be able to get the insurance for free. Who's paying for that? I mean, I'm working 6 days a week now because it's my busy season, and my insurance premiums aren't going down. I'm getting a rate increase in December of a small one, but it's going up about 6%. And it's getting to where I'm almost used to it. I have to just sort of eat it. It's like, well, I don't want to leave this good carrier, so I guess this is just my new rate.
Well, let me point out that we would not have this breaking of the country by the Affordable Care Act if it were not for a vermin named Joseph I. Lieberman of Connecticut.
Well,
Joseph I. Lieberman of Connecticut had the final vote.
I know he did. That was back in 2000.
He was Attorney General. He's a lawyer. He knows better. He is a skunk.
All right, let's not get political. It's not a political show.
Sorry.
It's a healthcare.
My country's gone, Michael. I lost my country.
Talk to you in 2 weeks. Ferris, have a good one. He gets passionate, that man. I do like him. I like intelligent people. All right, we'll take the caller. You want to take a commercial? All right.
Yeah, we can do it.
Thank you so much patiently for waiting, Michael Regan. How are you?
Hi, Michael. This is Jill.
Jill,
I'm just calling. I want to thank you for yesterday for helping my family.
Okay, so no names for HIPAA reasons. No names.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Jill's calling in. All right, go ahead, Jill. Explain the scenario.
I had no idea, where we could go to get help, and I heard you last time on the radio station, so I figured let me give a chance and see, and it was more than what I expected. I really appreciate it, because I've been trying to, get help with insurance, and we did for a whole family, so I definitely appreciate it.
My head's getting a little big. Pop it. Producers. All right, the whole concept is, I felt no one was out there helping people. There's a lot of radio shows. They do a lot of talk shows, a lot of political shows. But there was no one guiding a particular entire industry on how the industry works. And healthcare is really an important decision in your life. It's not a shirt at Macy's, or I buy at Marshall's because I'm a little cheap. But anyway, it's not a throwaway item. It's something you need to have when you get sick. I'm the first one people call when they need care. Everyone always says, I hate this insurance. I barely like you, blah, blah, blah. Who's the first one you call? It's the insurance people that pay those claims. For people that don't understand it and that need some navigation, I'm here.
Right.
I always like to be honest. The number one rule I don't like to say is, well, let me be honest with you. Well, you should have been being honest with me all along. I mean, now I'm thinking like, well, what was before? So it's just a given. You come see me. There's no fee for it. I just try to explain how the product works. I hope to get your business. But my key is not with dollars in my eyes. It's with what's in your best interest. And please remember, 03-77, the COBRA continuation is your trump card. So, did you, no names for HIPAA, did you have any luck finding the red, white, and blue card yet?
No, we don't have that, but I'm taking care of everything.
Okay, let me give you a local phone number because I know you live locally.
Okay.
And I already emailed all my people. They're ready for you. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay. I'm all set.
You are going to call
Mm-hmm.
1-877-4
Okay.
1-877-405-4874. 1-877-405-4874. You're going to speak to any one of the intelligent people over at Social Security. You're going to give them your son or daughter's Social Security. Don't even touch on that on the air. You're going to let them know that particular individual's Social Security and find out when they're eligible for Part B, as in boy or babe in your case, because you're a beautiful woman.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, you're going to call my friend Carla Micelli at the Agency on Aging, C-A-R-L-A, Micelli, M-I-C-E-L-I. She's an MSW, Master's of Social Work. You're going to speak to her about a caregiver allowance. It's 203-757-5449. I heard your situation loud and clear, and I went home and got some work done after dinner. Of course, I ate dinner with my family, but I got a little work done after dinner, and I found that you also are eligible for a caregiver allowance. So talk to Carla, explain your situation with her at the Agency on Aging, and I'll see you, I think we're going to see each other either in March or April.
Yes.
All right, Jill. Have a great day and appreciate your phone call.
Thank you. And tell WATR too.
Thank you.
Wonderful job.
Oh, they do such a great job, don't they?
Yes,
I'm lucky to work
do.
here. Okay.
Okay.
Good
Bye-bye.
caller. She had a situation which I can't discuss. Let's take a commercial break, and I'll tell that caller to hold. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Michael Regan, this is Medicare and You.